Hi and welcome. Recently in Warsaw, I saw a few strange posters. This is a picture I took a few days ago, and it shows Palestinians in need of help. We mostly see women in these pictures. There are hardly any men, and they look very nice, very friendly. Nobody's aggressive. Not at all like the people who are coming into Europe, who are mostly young men and quite often behave in a aggressive manner. These pictures were posted by a UN organization. That probably doesn't come as a surprise. There's been a lot of talk recently about Poland and Hungary not wanting to accept migrants from the Middle East. I think there's a correlation here. We hear that Poland doesn't want to accept any migrants, and all of a sudden we see these posters of Palestinian refugees seeking help. It's not a coincidence. They're trying to manipulate people's emotions. That's all this is. The mayor of Warsaw is a woman called Hanna Gronkiewicz-Waltz. She's from the Civic Platform. That is a liberal party here in Poland. You can say there's an analogy to London with the Muslim mayor that they have, Sadiq Khan. She's very much for accepting migrants. She probably had a part in this as well. Now, I don't mean to sound heartless, but Poland doesn't have any responsibility to the Palestinians, or Syria, or any other Middle Eastern country. That doesn't mean that Poland shouldn't help. I am for helping people, preferably in the place where they live. If that's not possible, in a neighboring country. I think that's the most humanitarian thing to do. But it's not reasonable to assume that Poland should open up its borders to all kinds of people from around the world. And I'd like to remind everybody that Poland is not a rich country. There are plenty of poor people in Poland. They need to be helped first. That's not unreasonable. That is perfectly logical. Every country has a responsibility to its own citizens first. I'm sure the same thing could be said in the US. There are lots of poor families who need help in the US. If you take a look at Warsaw, then yes, in this particular case, we are talking about a city that is quite wealthy. And some of the other large cities in Poland are also quite wealthy. But in a lot of the rural areas, there's quite a bit of poverty. There are some regions which have 20 or more percent unemployment, which is much more than the national average in Poland. Also, there are Polish people living in the east, for example, in Ukraine. Some time back, there was a story about how Polish families were fleeing the Ukraine because of the conflict there. They were fleeing eastern Ukraine, and some of them wanted to go back to Poland. And I remember that there was a big problem actually, because the Polish authorities couldn't really do that much. I don't understand why. Here we have the European Commission talking about how Poland should accept thousands of migrants from the Middle East. And when you had a couple of hundreds of refugees who have Polish ancestry and they wanted to go back to Poland, all of a sudden the European Commission didn't say a thing, as if the problem did not exist. And the Polish authorities also were quite passive. If Poles want to help, here you have some people you can help. Perfectly reasonable, a genuinely good cause. So I don't approve of these posters that were recently put up in the Warsaw subway or metro. I don't like being emotionally manipulated. That's all this is, emotional manipulation. The people who organize this want the Poles to feel maybe guilty, maybe they want to make the Polish people agree with the European Commission that Poland should accept basically illegal migrants. So it's no coincidence that this is coming up right now. This conflict is not going to end anytime soon. The European Commission is probably going to step up their campaign against Poland and Hungary. I certainly hope that the Polish authorities will stand their ground.